Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin. I'll give you guys an update on the broadening wedge that we discussed yesterday. We'll also take a look at the RSI because it is trading at that level I mentioned in yesterday's video where we saw a big breakout occur in 2021. Now, if you guys are enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notifications because I am releasing these videos every day, Monday through Friday. All right, so Bitcoin right now is bouncing today from this key support area down here at 36,000. All right, so this is a confluence of support. We've discussed it now for several weeks. You can see it's the top of this descending channel. We also have this trend line here off of the bear market high. Okay, so this was the high from back here in the bear market. You can see it connects with these lows back here in July, June, July, and then also these lows back here in January. Now, Bitcoin never closed below 35,000. So I talked about that before. This level was always intact as support. Okay, so there is a lot occurring right around that $36,000 area. So it is no surprise to see Bitcoin bouncing from there today. Now, if we dive into the 1 hour time frame, this is what I talked about in yesterday's second video. So this is a descending broadening wedge. Typically, a pattern like this comes at the bottom after a big move lower. Clearly, we've had a big move lower from Bitcoin, not just this recent pullback here, but also the fact that the market is trading about 45% off of its all-time high. Okay, so we have seen a big move lower. Bitcoin right now, especially at the lows yesterday, was getting a bit overextended to the downside. It was getting oversold. And so that's why we saw the bounce. Now, for this pattern to play out, guys, and this is key, we need to see a close above this trend line up here, which it hasn't done yet. Okay, so right now, this market is still in a downtrend. It is still in consolidation. So keep that in mind. And also, this pattern does not mean that everything is okay out there in the markets or out there in the world for that matter, because we know that the fundamentals out there do not look great. There's a lot of fear out there, a lot of uncertainty, but at the same time, we also know that this is Bitcoin, guys. This thing can change in a hurry, so you have to at least respect the potential for a move higher, especially if we see the market break out from this trend line and also close above $39,600. Okay, that's going to be a big level. And the reason for that, I talked about it yesterday, but it's worth repeating. If we look at the daily time frame, you can see where Bitcoin found support back here at 39,600, once again support here, and then resistance through this area. Now, furthermore, if you look at the weekly time frame, this shows the more bearish view to the Bitcoin chart. Because if we look at the weekly, you can see where this area between 40 and 42 has served as a pivot for the market over the past 14 months. And as of right now, you can see where last week, Bitcoin did close below that area. So as of right now, the market is trading below that on a daily closing basis. It has to get back above that in order to flip it back to support. Okay, so there is still a lot of work to do here for buyers, guys. Again, this does not mean that all of a sudden we're just going to bounce from here and head back toward, $46,000 and $50,000. There's a lot of work to be done. The market is technically in a downtrend. And as I said, the fundamentals out there do not look great. Everybody's very fearful right now, and there is a lot of uncertainty. So we'll just have to see how this plays out, but I'm certainly keeping my options open. Okay, I'm not just going to, as I said yesterday, I'm not going to get bearish right now while the market is above this support area down here. If we were to see Bitcoin close below 35, then yes, I do think we are looking at a move most likely back toward $30,000 because that would open up the bottom of this 14-month range down here at 40. If we see Bitcoin take out this low down here. Okay, but as of right now, as long as the market is above this area, I think it makes no sense to get bearish and start calling for 30,000 Bitcoin or even 20,000 Bitcoin like we've seen a lot recently on Twitter. So the market is in a position to make a potential higher low here at 36 compared to this one back here at 33. But right now, again, buyers need to confirm that with a move above this hourly trend line and then also a daily close above 39,600. Now, one thing I do want to talk about before we go is the RSI. Okay, so let me go ahead and get out here to the daily time frame and show you what I'm looking at. So this is something we've talked about now for the past few weeks, where back here when Bitcoin made this run up and pullback, we saw the RSI make this series of lower highs and also a trend line form in the process. Now, the RSI broke out through here while the price was also coming off of that $30,000 low. Now, recently, ever since these highs up here from the price, we saw the RSI do something very similar. Okay, we had these lower highs that formed a trend line. this trend line broke out back here. It made a run up just like it did back here, and now it's pulling back. What's interesting about this though, guys, is look at the level where the RSI is pulling back right now. You can see that it lines up exactly to what we saw back here in September. All right, so right now the RSI is bouncing right from that same level. And obviously this was right when we saw Bitcoin put in a low and then go on a big move. Now, I'm not implying that that's going to happen again. I don't know what's going to happen. And as I've said, an RSI, any kind of indicator is just an indicator. What matters here is the price action on the chart. Okay, that always trumps any indicator we're looking at, regardless of how good it looks. So even though we're seeing the RSI bounce from the same level that it did back here after a breakout, okay, from a downtrend, very, very similar to what we saw in 2021, it is still just an indicator and there are no guarantees. That being said, I do find it very interesting that the RSI is bouncing from the same level that it did back here after a breakout from a downtrend. And furthermore too, the RSI back here at these lows between May and July is also very close to this low that we saw down here at $33,000. So it's like I said today on Twitter, the fundamentals don't look great, but the technicals are there. So if buyers decide that now is the time to push price higher, personally, I think that all the technicals are there for it to happen. We've seen the market bounce from a confluence of support. We have an hourly descending broadening wedge, which is technically a bullish pattern. We have bullish divergence on the RSI, because don't forget about this, that if we look here on the hourly, okay, we can see the RSI starting to make higher lows as the market has been making lower lows. So we have that. We also have the RSI on the daily that I just showed you bouncing from a key level we saw in 2021. So there are a ton of indicators here pointing to a potential rally in the future, but buyers have to confirm it. Okay. So if they're ready, if this is the time for it to happen, the setup is there. We just need the confirmation. And the first step in that is going to be a close above this trend line, followed by a daily close above $39,600. So I'll leave you guys with something I mentioned yesterday. That is, this is not financial advice, but if you are looking for the highest conviction play here, it's to forget about all of this. Okay, forget about everything that's happening during this consolidation and focus on 39,600. Because if we do see a daily close above this level, okay, in the coming days or weeks, if Bitcoin can reclaim this area, then in my opinion, we are looking at a move at least back toward 46,000, if not up toward the $50,000 area. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it does, I don't think this is going to be a case where we see a close above 39.6 and the market just comes up toward, 40 or 41 and then rotates lower. All right, I think if it reclaims 39.6, we are going to get a considerable move from Bitcoin over the coming weeks. So it makes little difference if you're trying to be the hero and buy the bottom down here versus just waiting for that close above 39.6. You might as well just wait for the close above 39.6 and have that higher conviction play. So that's just my opinion, not financial advice, but I do think that a close above 39.6 is what it's going to take to really push prices higher. And again, as I said, guys, if we see Bitcoin come down and we lose 35,000, then we're likely headed back toward the $30,000 region. All right, so I hope the video helped, guys. If it did, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notifications. Smash that like button, leave your comment below, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.